Today I want to talk about a book that almost made it on my favorite books list, and it's still on the list of books that I would like to adapt into movies someday, on the condition that the author would allow me to change the ending slightly, just to make it satisfying instead of disappointing. And that is my main my main disappointment with this book, the ending. But let's start at the beginning. What I did like about it, what I didn't. So just let me get my notes so I don't forget anything. The Secrets of Silver Edge, that's the title, and it was such a good book, except for the last 10%, after the final fight with the skeletons. And yes, this will not be a spoiler-free review. I don't really know how to make them, really. Because for me, when I'm looking for a review, I want to know what I'm getting into, or I will just not read the book. So knowing some spoilers is important for me. So if you do hate spoilers, I guess find a different review. I will try to avoid any major spoilers though. But let's get back to the good parts. First, obviously the cover. It's so pretty, and it's absolutely the reason I grabbed it. It looks more like middle grade mystery than young adult anything. And the book is exactly that. The main character is 18, but it just makes her choices and what happens more reasonable. I really did like the setting in a fantasy-ish, Edwardian-ish village that was completely covered in vines, except for the Moonwell Manor and the main character's bedroom, once her magic awakened. She is the only one with magic in the village, except for Moonwell. At least that's what she thought before a boy her age stops her on her way to the Moonwell Manor, and he magically compels her to keep away from him. From Moonwell, not from himself. And so she needs a new plan to get rid of magic. She wants to do that because her magic is scary and out of control, and it could put her adoptive parents at risk. The mystery part is very well done, though after a while I wasn't quite sure which mystery are we following and which one is the main one, because there are a few of them and they keep the main characters on their toes. Some of the plot twists did surprise me, which doesn't happen often. They were satisfying, so it wasn't because there wasn't enough basis of facts to support them. They just went a different way than the few options I expected. I really liked how the people that the main character thinks are the bad guys get their own points of view chapters, and it turns out they are not really bad people, but they may have reasons to do what will end up hurting the main character. Beyond that, one of them finds out just how deadly the main character's magic is before she does, and it really creates the tension that the main character is running against the clock, but she doesn't know it yet. I really like the writing. It's engaging and has just the right amount of tension to not be a thriller. The characters are well written, and while they have their reasons to keep their secrets for a while, they are overall good people, expressing they care in different ways. The two boys and the unrelated to either of them, Grumpy Grandma, were accidentally portaled into that world from an alternative version of our world. And hearing them mentions about it through the main character's point of view made it interesting and quite humorous. There is a romantic subplot and a hint of a love triangle, as can be expected from the cover, but the triangle exists mostly for the main love interest to get slightly jealous and to get over the jealousy. The other boy mostly builds a bigger friendship with the main character. It takes half a book for the main love interest to get anywhere beyond attraction, which fits the book really well. It grows through friendship and offering comfort through tough situations. They end up sleeping in the same bed, and it feels a lot like a forced trope, but at least it's very clear that nothing inappropriate happens besides them sleeping in the same bed. They kiss for the very first time at the end of the book, but because of how it happens, it felt disappointing. The whole ending felt wrong. To start off, is a cliffhanger, so that's a big no. Please, no. Which, yeah, it is a bit of a industry standard to make sure that people buy your next book, but I would have bought the next book just for the characters and the writing. And the cliffhanger was more of a repellent for me. I did think about a few times looking up if the second book came out yet, but I was just too disappointed in how it ended. Especially because of what the cliffhanger was. The love interest betrays the main character's trust and they get separated. The love interest is on his own and the main character ends up stranded with the boy number 2. It was on its way of becoming one of my top 10 books I have ever read, and I just about sold few of my friends on it, and the ending ruined it all. Since finishing that book, I did figure out a few tricks to the ending that would get rid of the cliffhanger and the betrayal, instead focusing on the trust and working together theme, which was mostly the theme of the book, and the author decided to just toss it out the window. I did want to make a movie out of this book since I started it, since I passed few of the chapters and they were good. It was mostly a really good book, which I guess made the bad ending so frustrating.